Alrighty, let's do some green screen sensation. So go to your student files. You should find a folder called Photoshop Green Screen Fun. And in there, I want you to find Mr. Anderson.jpg, which is this image right here. You're going to right click it, open with, and Photoshop CC. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is unlock this layer. So go over to your layers on the far left and you will notice the background layer, and I am going to unlock it. And it changes the name, so let's rename this now to your name. I'll put Mr. Anderson. Then the first thing we're going to do is the quick selection tool. So you can come over here to the far right to the magnifying glass and start typing in quick selection. There it is. Or you can come on your toolbar and look for the quick selection tool. It looks like a paintbrush with a bunch of little dots. Do you see that? Right over here. And then I want you to look, after you have it selected, come to the far left and let's look at the options of the quick selection tool. I want you to start a new one, which is this first button here. So click on that. And then I want you to look at the size. The size is right here. Right now I'm set to 194. That's a pretty decent size. If you want to make it smaller, you just go down like this. As you see, my little circle got smaller. And if I make it larger like this, let's just go to about 300. 300 is good. And I'm simply just going to paint on the green. And as I'm painting, after I got one section, I'm going to click delete on my keyboard. And I'm going to just delete the green just like this. Delete. Delete. Make sure you're only getting the green. Delete. And then delete. Very good. After you do that, I want you to hit Command D. That's deselect. Command D as in dog. That will deselect the object. Alright, now that we have that, we're going to bring in a background. So go back to your student files, and inside the Green Screen Fun folder, there should be a background image right here. So I'm going to just take that and drag it right in. For right now, I'm going to hold down Shift, and I'm going to just resize this a little bit, just like that, and I'm going to get it exactly where I want it. That's good, and then I'm going to hit Return to place it. Now if you notice, I disappeared. So let's go look at our layers on the left. The background layer is above Mr. Anderson, so therefore it is covering me. So all I'm going to do is go to Mr. Anderson layer and I'm going to bring it right above the background layer. And now I'm in front and the background's behind me. So let's change the size of me just a little bit. So make sure you're on your layer, Mr. Anderson layer, or your photo, and you're going to hit Command T as in tree, Command T. That will bring us back the options where we can rotate and we can resize. Now once again with the resize, if you don't hold down Shift, you'll be able to go like this, which will change the aspect ratio of the image. You can do that if you like, but be careful because you might make it look a little weird. What I do suggest is when you hit Command T, is when you resize, you hold down Shift again. Holding down Shift will keep the aspect ratio. See that? So I'm going to just make myself a little bit smaller, and I'll put me on the corner, hit Return to place. Now let's grab some more images that we have. We have a caterpillar. I'm going to just drag that in. Hit Return to place. I'm going to put in a mushroom. Return to place. I will resize these in a little bit, and then I'm going to put one more thing. Let's put the hat. I think there's a hat somewhere. Here's the hat. Let's bring that in. So let's start with the hat first. I'm going to resize this, holding down Shift, and I'll bring it right above my head, maybe a little bit smaller, and I'll rotate it a little bit, and that's pretty good. Return to place. Now let's grab the caterpillar. The move tool is right here. It's the little cross with the arrows. You want to be on that to move your object. Then you just click and move. So let's make the caterpillar a little bit smaller. Command T. I'm going to resize it using Shift. Actually, I'm going to just put it in my hands, just like that. Place. And then let's do the mushroom. Command T. Actually, I'm going to put the mushroom in my hand. That might look cooler. So I'm going to bring that about there. Place it. I'm going to move the caterpillar and I'll put the mushroom in my hand, just like that. And let me change this. Let's make the caterpillar fly, actually. I'll bring them up. I'll put them right about here. Place. Let me grab some of those wings. Where are the wings? Right here. And I'm going to bring them in. Let's lower it. Now here's a good example. So if I want to put the wings on the caterpillar, I'm going to go like that. Hit place. Now the problem is the caterpillar layer is behind the wings layer. I want to do the opposite. So let's come over to our layer and find the wings and the caterpillar. As you can see, the wings is above the caterpillar. So let's take the caterpillar layer and make sure that is above the wings layer. And that will now put the wings behind the caterpillar. I'm going to hit Command T and just rearrange it a little bit. Perfect. Now another thing you can do, let's click on the caterpillar layer. Let's make sure we're on the caterpillar. And let's go all the way up to the far top where it says Photoshop CC. And let's play around with Image, Adjustments, and then Hue and Saturation. This will allow us to change the color of the caterpillar. See? Let's do something like that. Good. Now, just so you know, you can easily duplicate myself if you want. So if you come over to my layer, Mr. Anderson, and right click and do Duplicate Layer, I would call it Mr. Anderson 2, because now there's going to be two of me. Hit OK. You'll notice that there's two layers now, Mr. Anderson and Mr. Anderson 2. Let's grab Mr. Anderson 2 and let's move it. And now there's two of me. I'm going to bring me like this. So now there's two. So all you're going to do is create a quick image using all the stuff provided. If you want to find your own icons to use, you can do that on Google, but make sure you search transparent and then let's say tree. Make sure you put transparent in it, and then when you find the image you want, like this, make sure you see this checkered background. That's very, very important. And drag it onto your desktop. Whoop. And then drag it right in. Just like that. So now I have a tree. And that one I will place there. And if I was doing that, the tree is covering my face. So let's just make sure it's way behind me, but above the background. And now it's back there. And let's just resize that tree a tad bit. Something like that. So create an image and make sure you save it when you're done. To save it, go all the way up to File. Make sure you go to Save As. Make sure you are in your folder. So you might have to go to Student Files and then double click inside your folder, or you can simply type your name right here to search for your file. Let's open up our folder. And let's call this, instead of Mr. Anderson, well, that is my name, so I'll keep that. But you should rename this to your name. And then hit save. And you're done. Good luck. Giddy up.